Hello guys, welcome to Gustav's programming tutorials. In our previous lesson, we saw how to declare an array. We also learned that when an array is created, it is automatically assigned a value, 0. We can assign non-default values to single elements of an array. That will be our focus for this lesson. So for example, let's assign 3, 8, and 25 to elements 2, 5, and 8. We are using our code from our previous lesson. So if you haven't watched the previous lesson, you can go back and do that. There's a link in the description below. So before the for loop, we type id numbers subscript 1 equals 3 semicolon. id numbers subscript 4 equals 8 semicolon. And then id numbers subscript 7 equals 25. Now run the program. In the output, we notice elements 2, 5, and 8 have values 3, 8, and then 25, whilst the others still have default values 0. We can also use a loop to assign a single value to all elements of an array. You can assign non-default values to array elements when you create them. This is known as initialization. To initialize an array, you use an initialization list of values separated by commas and enclosed within curly braces. So, still using id numbers array. Let's delete the assignments. Now, to store the first 10 multiples of 10 within the array, we can declare the array as follows. Int square bracket id numbers equals in our curly brace, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 100. Then put a semicolon after the closing curly brace. You don't use a semicolon following a method's closing curly brace, but it is a must for an array initialization list. One would ask, where is the keyword new and the size of the array? When you initialize an array upon creation by providing an initialization list, you do not give the array a size or use the keyword new. The size and memory are assigned based on the number of values you place in the initialization list. Also, in Java, you cannot directly initialize part of an array. For example, you cannot create an array of 10 elements and initialize only 5. You either initialize every element or you must initialize none of them. Now, if we rerun the program, we get our values from 10 to 100. The for loop's continuation condition can use the expression id numbers.length to determine the length of the array. Length is not an array method. It is a field. It is also a property of the array object. So, in our for loop declaration, let's replace our 10 with id numbers.length. With this, you do not need to worry about array being out of bounds. Run the program. and we get the same result. Now, Java also supports an enhanced for loop. This loop allows you to cycle through an array without specifying the starting and ending points of the loop control variable. So let's try it out. So we type another for statement, and inside the parentheses we declare a variable. So int space, and then instead of a semicolon we use a colon, space, and then the array name, id numbers. In the body of the loop we put our output statement value. Now run it, and we get the same results from both loops. Now note, the enhanced for loop is used only to display values in an array. So if you want to make changes to an array, use the first for loop. We can perform arithmetic calculations on array as well. For this example, we'll ask the user to enter two numbers. Now, if the array element is even, then we add the first number, else we subtract the second number from it. So let's first change our initialization list to this. Now let's import the scanner class. Import java.util.scanner. Let's declare our variables and scanner object. So int num1 and num2 semicolon. Then scanner input equals new scanner system.in semicolon. Now our prompt message. Enter two integers and let's retrieve them. Num1 equals input.nextInt and num2 equals input.nextInt. Now in our for loop, let's remove the statement, and then we type if id numbers index modulo 2 equals 0, and output statement id numbers index plus num1, else another output statement id numbers index minus num2. Now to display them, let's just run it, and in our output window we can clearly see the changes in our list. Well guys, we will end our lesson here and continue in our next upload. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe.